Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So today I want to discuss something I've been thinking of. I've been thinking of making video games. Now, I've been developing games commercially for a while now. I've shipped a number of titles across mobile platforms, Nintendo 3DS, Wii U, and Switch. I've also shipped smaller titles, actually one huge one on the Game Boy Color, but I shipped smaller titles on Homebrew, just for free, for fun. But I've been thinking more about that. It's important if you engage in any sort of creative endeavor, you must strive to elevate your craft. I have spoken on that in a video previously, and I'll link to that in the description if you're hearing more about art and elevating your craft, finding your limits and pushing past them, and the importance of art, what it means to our culture, what it means to humanity. And I've been thinking about media in the 90s. That was a very, very long time ago. Mostly you hear old people talk about it. When I was a kid in the 90s growing up, people wouldn't shut up about the 60s, and now that we are 30 years on from the 90s, people won't shut up about the 90s. And that's just how it is. It's a cycle. In 30 years' time, you're going to hear about people who love the 20s for some messed up reason. They're going to like this decade, and they're going to keep talking about it nostalgically and fondly. They're going to look back and talk about all the wonderful brain rot that they enjoyed on the internet and how much they miss it. So I've been thinking about a way to make more. I always want to do more. I want to create more. As an artist, you should be prolific. You should strive to create as much as you can, because that allows you to, in essence, level up. You accrue skill points, and you can spend those skill points to level up your craft. And I want to create media in a similar way that the 90s created media, and that it was something, media was created for younger people, and that it was freely available to younger people, and that is in the form of TV shows and cartoons. And there wasn't this, what I find disgusting these days is this monetization of everything. Everything must lead to monetization. And the reason that is because all of these businesses, all of these companies are run now by CEOs, and shareholders are dominating the conversation to where everything should be about profit. How much more money can we make out of this? And in the 90s, that was not prevalent in the end result of the media. And so what we got was a flourishing of creativity. And obviously there are going to be shareholders and business people, but the people that were making media, the people that were in charge in the 90s were the hippies that grew up in the 60s. And there was a free-spiritedness and a drive towards love and passion and creativity. And unfortunately, that is basically dead these days. It's all gone. And the people that are running companies now and in charge of decisions are soulless. They are soulless. All they care about is money and profit. And they have no care about the end result. They have no care for social responsibility. And so what I've been thinking of is a way to reach more people with games. And so over the past year, I've been creating a game framework that will let me make action adventure RPGs. It's using the Unity game engine, but it is a framework. Now, the Unity is just an engine. It's just the bones, right? But the framework is really the meat on the bone. And the game that you see on the surface is really just the set dressing. It's the clothes and the jewelry and any fancy stuff. So you think of this in layers, right? And so I've been building a game framework for my upcoming games, my commercial games, that I can use my framework. It's all of the programming, basically. I've done all the programming, and I can use that to create games. And they don't all have to be exactly the same style. I can make some adjustments with the framework itself, but I will be able to make games significantly faster using this new framework. And it's not the only framework I've been working on. I've been working on a number, and this is all in the purpose of creating more. As an artist, I want to do more. I want to learn more. I want to be able to accomplish more. And with this game framework, I was thinking there's so much that I can do with this, and I want to do more than just make commercial games. And so going back to the topic I've been thinking of making games is I want to create games that are accessible to everyone, that have no monetization involved, that are just free. And I want to honor the philosophy of the 90s, which I refer to as basically the neo-hip era, because that's what it was. Hippies from the 60s grew up. They took charge of the way that media was created and served out to people, and they were in charge in the 90s. And it's time for people from the 90s to honor that philosophy, that sense of passion, creativity, and love for just creating something to offer a good experience to other people, to elevate mankind, to inspire, to encourage people to think more, to learn more, to explore creative freedom and creative expression. And so I want to use my game framework to create free games. There's going to be no monetization involved. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not asking you to give me anything, to help me with anything. I just want to create cool, interesting stories. And so I'll be using my game framework, and it will be an action adventure framework. And with the free stuff, they're going to be smaller games, right? They're not going to be massive, huge 30-hour-long adventures, but they're going to be stories that I think are interesting, that I come up with. And I'm a big fan of horror. I was spoiled, of course, growing up in the 90s. I was spoiled for choice because we grew up and we had things like Goosebumps during the day and then Are You Afraid of the Dark at night. And they really carried the spirit of the Outer Limits and the Twilight Zone. And because they were meant for kids, anyone could watch it. Kids of all ages could enjoy it. And it's stuff that wasn't Teletubbies, you know. It was stuff that had depth to it, emotional and intellectual complexity, and it was interesting. And Are You Afraid of the Dark? Some of it is pretty scary stuff, and it's fun. It's fun to watch that. And so I want to create stories that I can just put out there and people can enjoy it for free. There's going to be no monetization involved because I want to honor the philosophy that the hippies passed down to us. I know it sounds funny, the neo-hippies, but basically the 90s is the neo-hippie era. I suppose I would consider myself a neo-hippie then at that point, because I was raised by hippies. The world that I grew up in was one that was created, and it was a ship led by hippies. And so I want to create cool, scary stories, and I've been thinking of this for a while now, but now that I have this framework completed, pretty regularly, you know, in the way that Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark were episodic. I'm sorry, I should have done this earlier in the video. Let's go ahead and make this a little more interesting.